I'm gonna have you give me a pretty loud clap in three, two, one.
Okay, we good?
Yeah.
Okay, so
Three, two, one. So about 3 months ago, I set out to make a documentary about fast fashion here at UMass. While making the documentary, I was lucky enough to sit down and spend some time with some really awesome people. And the focus of my documentary shifted from the clothes to the people making them and wearing them. As I was working on the documentary, I found myself coming back to the same Ernest Gaines quote. He says, "I would say that about people all over the world. They don't know how much in common that they have." So, I decided to make my documentary about that. About that quote, about a football player, a sustainability advocate, and a filmmaker, and how the three of them have so much more in common than you might think.
I'm Anna Tempestoso.
My name is Darius Gooden. I'm from North New Jersey.
I'm a student here at UMass Amherst,
An athlete at UMass.
an aspiring sustainable fashion advocate,
Football player,
intramural soccer player,
designer,
bird watcher.
CEO of Naker.
What do I call myself?
A little background on how I know the two of them. I met Darius through my internship this year with the UMass football team. I was there taking photos and videos, he was there as a player. I knew he had a clothing brand, so when the documentary came up, I figured I would reach out. And from there, we've just had some great conversations.
I'm dropping this sometime this summer, right?
Yo, that's
That's the design, but it's gonna be on the white
crazy.
tee.
That's
I might even do like 2 different colors, but
Yeah.
I'm dropping that. And like the theme me and my boys wanna do, so like we all could do it together. Is like,
Anna was a little bit different. She was a friend of a friend, and I had seen her at a party or going out here and there, but I didn't really know that she was doing the sustainability thing. And one day I stumbled upon her Instagram, and obviously once the documentary came about, I knew she would be a perfect person to talk to. It wasn't until I was done with the interviews and I started editing them that I realized how much they had in common.
I got into fashion, just looking up to, athletes that I aspired to be like. One big influence on me was probably Odell Beckham Jr. Just watching him. I dyed my hair at one point, so he was like a really big influence. I played wide receiver, and he was big into fashion, so just watching him, I think that kind of like inspired me. I was always into things like sneakers and everything, but just watching dudes like him kind of got me into it. Wasn't really able to afford it, so as I got older, was able to like get things I wanted, and as I got into it myself, I was started to critique things and see things that I wanted to change and have differently on different items. So it kind of prompted me to start my own thing.
The more I listened, the more I realized they had in common. Both of them spoke about how an excess amount of free time led to the start of their fashion journey.
Why I felt compelled to learn how to sew, I think just started with my love for fashion growing up, and knew that it would just be a really cool thing to be able to make my own clothes, but it wasn't something that I ever really had the nerve to try to do until I think I had the time in quarantine to do that.
I started this through, like I said, I had surgery. I don't know if I said it in this, but I had surgery, so I was in I would say a downtime, just going through that, wanting to be out on the field, and it sparked something else in my brain that when I start my clothing line right now, working out, doing rehab, studying my playbook, but when I got more free time, why not try to start my clothing brand? So I would say for sure, yeah.
And I'm so grateful I honestly had the opportunity, because I don't think if I was bored out of my mind and didn't kind of face that part of me that always wanted to learn how to sew, if I didn't have that moment to really realize that's something I wanted to do, and also learn about what was happening in fashion and how there's a lot of change to be made, and learning how to upcycle on my own and alter things on my own, because of course secondhand fashion is a lot of the time when you're thrifting, it doesn't fit you perfectly. So all those kind of things I was learning about, how harmful the fashion industry is on people and the planet, kind of encouraged me to be like, okay, no, this is something I want to learn. And I felt very compelled to kind of be a part of that change in a way by just sharing my own journey of what I was learning and how to sew and all that. And yeah.
Once I saw the parallels there and I watched the rest of their interviews, the connective tissue started to come together.
So I would say, you know, something starts with somebody. You know, it starts somewhere. So I would say football was like more my brothers. I think I played football because of my brothers. I got 2 older brothers, so I started playing football because of them. Man, I didn't really have anybody to look after to like emulate with fashion, starting my own thing. So I would say just having that desire and grind from, you know, starting football, starting other sports like track, basketball, which I played when I was younger. I still had it in me just to, you know, be able to take a risk and go after it. So I would say I got that from my parents, my family, just everybody who influenced me throughout my life. I just got, you know, eager to, you know, start something new and do something that I was interested in.
Yeah, so I definitely get a lot of my creative energy from my mom. She's a graphic designer. She's always been a super free-spirited person in my life. And she actually did upcycle things herself. She had like her own little Etsy shop, not with clothing, but you know, just to make some extra money when we were little. She would upcycle old magazines and make vases. I actually have one in my apartment here at school, which is pretty cool. It's like a decade old, if not longer. So she would, you know, upcycle things that are to make some extra money, but just to because it was what we had laying around. And now it's like we think about, not only was it what we had and we made use out of things that were just kind of sitting there, and but it's also just mindful, you know. So I get that from her. And then my dad's a very driven person, self-made. You know, his parents were immigrants, so he's super hardworking. So I think both of those elements I'm really grateful I, you know, got from them. You know, my drive to make change in sustainable fashion and my mom's creativity. Yeah, that's pretty much it.
I knew Anna was going to talk about sustainability, so when Darius brought it up, it really caught my attention.
Let me see. First, I'm gonna say the main thing was just learning what's like how to gauge how many items to get. So what I did was I did a pre-order. So for the first one, I was thinking like, it's so many sizes you need for a shirt. So somebody might wear small, somebody might wear extra large. I don't know. This person, I might get extra large, but this person might wear medium. So I don't want to order all these shirts. It's my first drop. I don't want to order all these shirts and have them just sitting here. I don't know how many people are going to buy it. So what I said I was going to do was I just did a pre-order. So I gave people about a week to order, 7 days to order. And after that 7 days, if you didn't order, then that item is done now.
Yeah.
But that's helping me because now I'm saving money instead of having this big bulk order sitting with me until I get a set customer base. I know exactly how many I need, and I'm saving my money and just getting a gauge of sizes and my customers and who's going to be buying it since it was my first one.
And it was kind of a mix of things. I think I started to hear about what was happening in fast fashion. I was like, what? I was just mind blown. And I basically made a decision to not consume fast fashion for the year. And I remember, and I haven't thought about this feeling in a while, like just being like, oh, can I do that? Like I genuinely was like, oh, so I started Honest Green Threads because I wanted to hold myself accountable. I wanted to learn how to sew. I wanted to share that because of course we couldn't see people, and so I thought it would be a great opportunity to connect with people. But I remember being like, oh my gosh, am I gonna be able to do that?
And as our conversation winded down, without me even asking, both of them picked up their pieces and began to show me.
All right, I am ready to roll whenever.
Okay, so this is the first upcycled UMass piece that I've made for myself.
So this is the Naker mother of pearl tee.
They explained their favorite stories, their thought process behind, and how these pieces came to be. After realizing everything they had in common, I just figured they had to meet. On Wednesday, May 10th, around 4 p.m. on the campus quad, the two of them finally met.
I made this, like I told you, put it on PixArt.
or
Yeah.
Canva or something like that. And this is actually the color knicker too. It may
Oh,
look
cool.
white, but it's not white. It's the color knicker.
Yeah.
So
That's awesome.
I just chose the end and the font, sent it to him, told him I wanted what the size and where I wanted it.
Yeah.
Did it like that.
Nice.
And
Everyone needs a pair.
You know, I actually like the size of these because I feel like sunglasses are always kind of massive on me because I have kind of a small face. What do we think?
Amazing.